Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. That's your line.
I know the way you said hello. I was like, ooh, that was really long. And I enjoyed it and got lost in it, really. Welcome to a couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Johnson.
And I'm Heather Terry.
And for anyone who doesn't know, this is our power hour of true crime where we talk about fucked up people doing fucked up shit, usually for fucked up reasons or sometimes for no reasons at all.
I'm so glad that you're the one that has to do that part. One, I would forget it. Two,
I have.
My accent, I'd be like, your power hour. Like,
Yes.
every time you say it, I'm like, she enunciates, and I'd be like, your power hour of true crime. And what do I say? That's how I would do it.
I have forgotten it a plethora of times.
Yeah.
Which I just said it that one time. And then it was like, I guess.
We were like, we like that.
I was like, I don't know what I said, but I guess we're going to try to keep doing it.
That's the heat. She's bringing the heat.
Yes, I am. So I'm coming fresh from a work meeting. And as soon as I walked into said professional meeting, that professional work meeting, they go, you look like a pool liner. And I can't unsee it.
I can't.
It's like How I Met Your Mother, that glass break moment where it's like you realize something really annoying that somebody does and that's all you can notice of them.
Oh.
That's all I can notice of this dress. And I love this freaking dress.
It's super cute, but it's giving me pool liner vibes.
It's such a fucking shit.
You know what else it reminds me of? And I told you earlier was those 3D magic eye books for people that are like 35 and over, like us. That where you like hold it close to your face and then you go cross-eyed when you pull it back and you're like, oh, that's a cow.
I never once could get that. I've never once done the pull back thing ever in my life.
You never pulled out? No.
And gotten it. Like, I remember being young. No, I could never see the thing. I never saw the thing. I remember thinking as a kid, I was broken.
You would, first of all, of course, you would overanalyze in magic eye book because that's how your brain works. But like,
there's something wrong with my brain that I can't see it.
But we're going to do a field test. I bet you.
Maybe I can now.
I want one. We're doing it. I'm adding to cart.
Heard.
Adding to cart.
Go for it.
I want to.
Please. Other fun facts after this, we're going to be recording some cameos. So,
oh my gosh.
Friendly reminders.
Friendly reminder.
Go to coupleofsassholes.com. Scroll down to the bottom. Press them little buttons down there. They tell you things like, hey, we do Cameo, and also sign up for our Patreon.
That's right.
And then you can also find out where we're going to be next because we love the live events.
I love that little plug.
Which hopefully there's probably nothing on there because we haven't planned another live event, but we're going to make that happen.
It's in the works.
It is.
It's in the works.
Picking dates.
Not picking dates, taking names.
Doing
Raising
shit.
hell and praising Dale.
Yes, we are. That is our motto. That's what we do here
That's
at
right.
A Couple of Sassholes podcast. Not in the slightest. Well, raising hell.
Yeah.
We do
We
that.
don't praise Dale.
I mean, I kind of do.
You praise Dale Earnhardt.
I was raised on Dale Earnhardt. My dad was a huge fan. Everything in his garage was Dale Earnhardt, and we watched every one of his races. So I can't even lie. I do praise a little Dale.
Oh my God. Another left turn.
Yeah.
NASCAR's hey, if you like NASCAR, to each their own.
Do your thing. I just love my dad, and I don't care about any part leading up to the last 5 laps.
Right.
And then it's really riveting.
It's like the Kentucky Derby, which the Kentucky Derby is this Saturday here in Kentucky. We pre-record these days. And I don't pay attention to any of the races until the very last one. And I don't know anything about horses, but I pick number 8 every time. And then this year there's a horse named Sandman. And Will's favorite band is Metallica. So we're betting on Sandman. Fun facts.
Travis is right. That's my hubs. He's currently at Thurby right now, getting his bet on.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's at Thurby. He's been
tell him to bet
me
for
shit.
me. I'm gonna Venmo him.
He goes, I'm negative $10, and he was like, "Wait, I just won." And I was like, "Do we have enough for a small farm?" And he's like, "We have $10.85." And I was like, "We're crushing it. We are that much closer to my little farm."
Baby steps.
That's what it's all about.
Baby steps. That's how you're gonna hit it big.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting money,
I thought you were gonna say hitting it big.
No. Speaking of money schemes.
Oh,
I'm about to hit you with one.
Number one, I'm always excited about your stories, but we've been working really hard. We've had some good feedback from our producer, Jess, and we have been working really hard on just kind of providing better stories. Like we've been working on the storytelling. We've been working on our research and kind of how we do it. You have been crushing it like an elephant on peanuts. And
Okay, first of all, I'm not going to let you scoot past that. But I'll let you scoot past it.
Okay.
But
I was just saying, you've been crushing it. So I'm really excited about this. So if you're pumped about the story,
wow,
I am 10 times more
no
pumped
pressure.
about the story.
Now I'm going to go back and redo it and do another story because now you're like, you've been doing so great. Keep it up. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I hope so. Okay. Either way, we're going to give it a good college try.
I bet it's wonderful.
And not in one of the classes I wasn't interested in where I got like B's. Like a class I actually liked.
I like how she's like, where I wasn't interested in it and I got B's. I'm like, if I wasn't interested in it, yeah, I probably just got B's too.
And then
I was about to act like I got C's.
About
it. Like, you're lying.
You sweated about it.
You're
you journaled
lying.
8 notebooks worth. Like that, you got to be reevaluated where your head was. You tried harder.
My parents said that the first time I got a B in elementary school, that I took it so hard that they didn't know how to handle it. They said when I was like, I think in like the 2nd or 3rd grade or something, I got a B and they didn't know how to console me.
That's pretty on brand.
Yeah.
My first B was in handwriting.
Mine was my first F and my only F in my entire life was in handwriting.
How do you get an F in handwriting? You write with your feet?
I had OCD really bad at the time. And so I couldn't write anything unless it was on a perfect sheet of paper and it had to be absolutely perfect. Oh. And so I would keep erasing it until I ripped through the paper. Like I had such my obsession.
Well, I feel like an asshole for bringing it up.
You should.
I just got a B because I wrote too fast because I wanted to be done and go play.
No, mine was like, it has to be perfect. It has to be so perfect. Why isn't the B as perfect as it's supposed to be? Just keep erasing. You're going to get it right, which means I never turn in my homework.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Mine was just like, hey, I want to go play on the slides and flirt with boys. So I'm done.
It's amazing that in that time frame, as I like look back at it, obviously I probably needed like it was the 80s, 90s, right? Like now I feel like if anyone's kids were like obviously having signs of like OCD and anxiety at a really young age, there's probably like a kid therapist.
There's a something
for that now. Yeah. Maybe I should go see it myself.
That's a good segue for my story because this is unchecked signs.
Oh.
At young ages. I
I'm
gotta
so
put my
ready.
glasses on.
We are not partnering
so dirty.
with Tropical Cafe today. I just didn't have time to eat.
You said Tropical Thunder earlier.
I did.
Tropical Cafe.
I don't care. But is this not
Tropical Smoothie Cafe or something? Isn't that their government name?
I don't know, but it's a smoothie.
Okay, I'm just going to do this with dirty glasses because I can't get them clean.
Give it to me.
Okay. Have you ever heard, because I was feeling really culty, so I go to chat.
You always are.
I am.
You are always
They intrigue me. It's my thing.
I love it.
Yeah. So I went to ChatGPT and I was like, hey, girl, give me a cult that not a lot of people know about.
Okay.
It gave me Ant Hill Kids. Already done it. So then it gave me the Children of Thunder. How intriguing is that name?
Maybe that's why I said Tropic Thunder earlier.
I'm sure.
Foreshadow.
So here we go. My sources, SupremeCourt.gov, Wikipedia, The Mercury News, San Francisco Chronicle, Murderpedia, People.com. And then there's an episode of People Magazine Investigates on Max called The Children of Thunder, Season 3, Episode 11.
Ready for it.
Ready. Okay. But doesn't Children of Thunder sound like a redneck training camp for children who want to be in the WWE or something?
I
Children
disagree.
of Thunder.
I did not until you did that. I was like, no, I don't see it. And then you did that and I was like, now I see it.
Right. I read it like that every time.
Yeah.
Like, here comes the Children of Thunder against
I don't even know how
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. Glen Taylor Helzer was born on July 26, 1970 in Lansing, Michigan. Fun fact. I've been there several times. My grandma lives close to there. Anyway,
Cute.
Glen went by Taylor, so don't get confused. It's the only time I'm going to call him Glen.
Okay.
If you look him up, it's Glen Taylor Helzer. I go by Taylor. His parents, Jerry and Karma Helzer, were strict and devout LDS church members. First of all, love the name. Anyway, LDS stands for the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, or informally known as Mormons. I'm only familiar with that from Sister Wives. Like, the only time I've ever heard the LDS Church so much is from Sister Wives. Anyway, this religion is commonly known for that, polygamy, but they also have a strong emphasis on their pillars for life after death, families, eternal marriage. So, like, if you're married in life, you're going to be married forever, forever, ever.
So, can you get divorced or no?
They frown upon it heavily.
Okay.
Yes.
You kill them instead, right? No, I'm sorry for any. From what I've experienced, if you can't get divorced in your religion, the next best thing to do is to kill them.
Sometimes they use that as an avenue, sadly. Yes. Yeah. And they also believe that God speaks to them directly through prophets that he chooses.
Okay.
They moved around a lot, and they ended up in Burlingame, California, and when he was 11. And then they had some money troubles, so Karma's super religious parents took them in, and they went to live with their grandma and grandpa.
Okay.
Grandpa, Karma's dad, I don't know his name, said Jesus came to visit him in the flesh. And we talked on the lawn for hours. Not a voice in my head, I saw his face on a piece of burnt toast. He came to his yard.
Heard.
Yeah.
Man, it's so hard for me not to chuckle.
There's gonna be so many.
I also know it's actually because I'm not a religious being, right. and I love and support everyone's journeys on everything, but because I'm more of a spiritual person than a followed religion, I'm always blown away whenever, because I can't portray, I couldn't fathom experiencing a relationship with God in the way that I believed that he had come to my yard, and we drank a Busch Light and hung out.
Right. So when he's telling them this, because they were super strict, and Taylor's like, "Oh, that's awesome!" He's mesmerized by that. Taylor dives in headfirst to that. He's very charismatic from a young age, and he was actually named a priest in 1986 at age 16, and got a patriarchal blessing saying God would speak through him.
My face reacted really heavily to that.
Yeah, because
I was like, "Oh, I forget we're on camera still," and I was like, "What?" Okay.
Soon after this, he told his mom, he's like,
"Could he drive a car?" And he's already a prophet?
Yeah, I don't know. Soon after this, he was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm hearing voices," and his mom's like, "Oh, that's God. That's not a mental health issue. That's God. That's God talking to you through your head." And he's like, "Cool." So since he apparently was the golden child, he dropped out of high school at age 16, and she was like, "Yes, you need to do your thing." He got his independent study.
I'm so sorry. Year? When was this? Around, is this 90s, 80s, 2000s? Sorry. I'm trying to understand a 16-year-old being able to not go to school.
1970, so that was 86.
Okay, thank you.
I did math on camera and succeeded.
And you did it well and fast.
Okay.
And hard.
Okay, so he dropped out of high school, got his independent study diploma at home, because why would the golden child be stuck to public school? Taylor joined the National Guard at age 17 in order to prepare and get training for the apocalypse.
Training? I wish somebody would give me training right now for the fucking apocalypse.
In Utah, he went to Utah, and in Utah, he preached to the sinners, and this was his first taste of influencing others. In 1989, he went on an LDS mission trip to Brazil, which a lot of the men did, because women in that religion are kind of second. That's not me judging. That's literally how it is.
Yeah.
So men are above women. And so they sent him to Brazil. They'd never been to Brazil before. They trusted him. They were like, "You're the chosen priest, whatever the fuck. So you go do that." He gained a really big following and started preaching about the end of times, which that was not approved. He went off script.
This dude's
at this time, he's 18, 19. So
I wish
he goes rogue.
I'm just blown away though. First, that there's an 18-year-old prophet preaching this end of times, and that he's gaining a following. I'm it's hard enough for me to get a social media following. And
okay, there's going to be a lot of what the fuck
perfect
in this.
Can't wait. Those are my favorite.
Okay, he's telling, and the church is like, "That's not what we told you to say." So, but he's like, "I'm doing it anyway." He was like, "Hey, the apocalypse is coming. It's coming way sooner than we think it's going to." He's like, "Technology is going to be useless," and he preached and encouraged the fortress mentality. We have to protect ourselves and God's mission at all costs. You're not going to need your phone. Yeah.
Okay.
The mission president, he finally goes up to the mission president, down in Brazil, and he's like, "Dude, listen, this is what's happening. Why aren't you telling anyone?" And they're like, "No, calm down." And so he rejected the LDS authority altogether. And he's like, "Well, I don't respect you. I know more than you. You obviously don't know how to run the church, and you're lying to everybody, telling them that the end of times is coming sooner, and you're not telling anyone." So he basically rejects their authority.
Even though they're the one that basically paid for him to go to training camp?
Yes. Yes.
For the material that they
Yes.
Created?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he left Brazil at age 21. His mom, he comes home, he's like, Mom. And his mom's like, you are a different human now. You're more godlike. I trust you. She ingrained in he had 2 siblings, and she was like, you guys got to listen to him too. Whatever he says goes. So he automatically had superiority complex and narcissistic tendencies because his whole life people have been telling him, you're a prophet.
Which is so strange.
Right. And his brother and sister were like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, we do what you say.
Did you see any images of them? Like photos of them?
Yeah, you want to see?
Sure. What about his, like, okay, so just question, out of the siblings, was he the most attractive?
Yeah.
Like, did he like stand out from his siblings?
He's on the left. That's when he was older though, and his brother Justin's on the right.
Okay.
So they were attractive. They were attractive. Okay, so Karma, his mom, she's like, okay, I really need you to go to this impact training. This is meant to find your purpose, but it actually taught him how to control people.
Empath training?
Impact training.
Sorry, one second.
Impact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know if you were saying empath training.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, okay, that would make sense. I did the apocalypse. Now we're going to be able to like feel people's feelings.
Oh, no, he doesn't care about people's feelings.
Impact. Got
Impact,
it.
yeah. So these seminars actually teach brainwashing techniques. And one of their pillars is there's not a right and wrong. There's only results for God. So like you can do whatever you want as long. And then he grabbed onto that and was like, that's what I believe.
Okay.
Okay. He goes to that, comes back, whatever. He starts dating a girl named Anne, which she was not a Mormon.
I was like, what? I got scared. I whipped my hair and you were like, oh, I was like, ah.
She was not a Mormon, which that is frowned upon. They got married in 1993 and he converted her because very persuasive. Since he didn't grow up with TV in the house, he got super into Skinamax and sexy time TV at nighttime. Like he didn't have a TV, and then all of a sudden, you remember back in the day when all of a sudden it'd be like, oh, there's titties.
Yes,
and you're like,
real quick, for anyone who was born like after 1987, because I'm 1987 and I can only speak to when I came out of my mother's womb. There used to be on the TV, literally once you hit like 2 a.m. or something, it was just fucking porn.
Yeah,
it was just ass and titties, and
big
titties.
Booty bitches.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just on your TV. So you're just like on Nickelodeon, you're a kid, and you're like MTV, and you're like scooting boogie. And I was never doing that because I wasn't up at 2 a.m. My parents had rules. But
all of a sudden it's like, oh.
You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah. So he was like, what is this?
It's like, I ain't even got to steal cable.
Yeah. So he gets real into it and gets a porn addiction.
Perfect.
And he would stay up for hours and hours and hours all night watching this shit on TV.
I'm apologizing for anyone that's watching our video today. I have a back pain, and so I'm going to fidget, and it's all I can do. So my apologies to anyone who's actually watching our video today.
So then he's like, hey, wife, I need you to do some of that Skinamax stuff. And she's like, I'm a Christian soldier. I'm not doing any of that crazy shit that you want me to do. She was like, because she was she was raised very conservatively. So, like, the shit he was wanting to get into, she's like,
Do we know any of the shit he was wanting to get?
No, I
didn't know if you had heard. I was like, would you see any research?
No. He started running around and staying out late, like ignoring, they had like kids. He was ignoring the kids. Like just being a little shit. So Anne's uncle's like, hey, you guys are struggling. This will help. She got him a job at he got him a job at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, which was a financial advising firm. He had no training. He didn't even have a college degree. He had that independent study diploma, but that's it. And so he came in as a trainee, but he used his charm and his skills of manipulation to be a financial advisor. And he rose up the ranks pretty quick. Like,
wow.
Yeah. Like out of nowhere. Cause it was like a big firm. Like he had like over 150 clients and stuff. After a few years, like things seem normal. A few years later, Taylor's like, I'm bored. He gets bored. He's still thinking about all this shit, but he's trying to be...
Is he in his 20s now?
Yeah.
Later 20s?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's still in his 20s. He started drinking, which was a no-no. He started smoking.
They're not allowed to drink even like caffeine or anything.
Some of them are more strict than others, but yeah. So he started drinking alcohol, smoking cigs, and he was spiraling. Like he agreed to go to, and his wife's like, you need help. He's like, fine, I'll go to rehab. But obviously that didn't help because he's thinks he's better than everybody.
Yeah, I was like,
he did 5 sessions of rehab, and he was like whining to the therapist from everything I read. He was like, my wife doesn't want to fuck me. She's a prude. She bait and switched me. Wah, wah, wah. Like she said, yeah, she's acted like she was kinkier and she's not, and all this shit. But he also left out the part that 2 weeks before this, she had just given birth to their kid. So obviously
he's wanting like butt play whenever she like still can't even sit down on the toilet without crying.
Right.
Motherfucker.
And then the therapist is like, can you chill? Like Wait, just wait. I need you to hold this because I got it
so rowdy.
Just wait, you're about to get even more rowdy. Ugh. So he said, also, I want to fuck other women. That'll help I have a plan. Listen. I need you to hold all applause till the end. So he said, quote, if I advertise in Brazil, collective pool of 80 to 100 women, then knock it down to 35 women, then I get to fuck a new woman every day. Then he would have them, and he's being serious, like it's just me telling you, like with conviction. Then he says, well, they'll just sign a 2-year contract for daily boning. That's not a quote, because I don't think he knows that word. But, so, the therapist is like, what the heck? And he was diagnosed with narcissistic personality features, but not the disorder. And Taylor's like, no. And then he said, fuck you, and left. So, yes. He started doing drugs. He graduated to more drugs. He was drinking even more. He was ignoring his wife. And his lapdog little brother, Justin, the one that was trained to look up to him. He's younger. And he came over to help with Ann and the kid because he's like, my brother sucks, but he's a prophet, so I'll come help. By 1996, Taylor moved out and he moved in with his brother. He decided to create a scheme to not work as a financial advisor anymore because, he had to save the world. And he was like, I'm going to get fraudulent disability checks.
Oh,
yeah. So how
is this a prophet of like God?
Yeah.
You're like, everything about every aspect of all of this is not godly in any capacity.
At this point, he was still attending the LDS church, but he was this is a long story and there's tons of but he was excommunicated from the church because his sister Heather saw him drinking and smoking and talking about this shit at her wedding. And she wrote a letter to the higher ups at the LDS church and they were like, yeah, you got to get out of here. But he still attended services, but in his head, he was was still the prophet. Like he was still doing the right thing. But they were like, shut up.
Yeah, like, dude, you're dumb. Get out of here.
So their 24-year-old cousin, Shy Hoffman.
Shy
Hoffman.
Can you spell it? Not can you spell? I know you can. You do a great job.
Like bashful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But someone I listened
For some reason I was like SHAI?
Shy. I don't know. And so Shy moves in. Shy was he was bipolar and schizophrenic and had been in and out of mental institutions for years. AKA, he can help Taylor fake being a full-blown manic schizophrenic to get a check. He said, I'm going to have to keep going. He said, he told Shy, he was like, listen, Shy, I need funding to save the world because I'm a warrior prophet. So we need a side hustle, an escort service.
Okay. I'm just going to say that all I feel like you've done is you're giving me blue balls and not letting me speak. Because of the timeline of this, and you were like, this story is long and there's so much that I could include. It could be like 20 pages and you had to condense. And I feel like you're literally just like giving me blue balls.
Just walking around naked, not letting you touch anything.
That's what it feels like. That is what it feels like. I'm like not allowed to comment too much and I just want to fucking shred this shit apart. Okay, I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
You're like, looky, no touchy.
Yeah, this is great.
Okay, so they had business cards made. I want to know the name. I don't know. And they never followed through with it from everything I read. So they had this grand scheme. They were on drugs. They were like, we're going to do an escort service. Let's make business cards. And then what's it called?
Everything sounds better when you're on drugs.
Yeah. Like
they made business cards?
Yeah.
That's so perfect.
I know.
I love that.
Okay. So by the time Taylor, he was 28, he left his wife, but they were still banging it out. And married on paper.
Still have sex with him?
Right. They were still
I'd be worried about his dirty dick. Yeah. Sounds like he'd be trying to have a dirty dick. It's like, I want to fuck a different girl every day of the month. Yeah, you were trying to get a little chlamydia.
Yeah, he got a taste of Skinamax and then went off the deep end. He's got all that hormones. I don't know. So they're married on paper too, still. He knocked her up, but they ended up officially divorcing shortly after because after 2 kids, he was like, I can't do this. Like, so, yeah.
Then break up before you go.
Yeah. So another thing about the LDS church, like I mentioned, is you're not supposed to get divorced, and they frown upon it. But he's also ripping cigs and drinking and being a little naughty Mormon.
Yeah, he is not Mormon to the Mormons. He's like, you are lying.
Yeah.
You are not. I just don't feel like he can even be called it because he's just not being it.
Yeah. Oh,
that's like me being like, I'm a Christian prophet and all I do is beat children.
Yeah.
Okay, bullshit. You're not a Christian prophet then. You're just saying it.
Right. Okay, I skipped ahead because since I was naughty and did my research last night and this morning. His sister did after this and he got divorced. Then she told on him. Like, she told after she had already like written a letter, but then she literally went to him and he got excommunicated and he didn't care because the divorce pushed her over the edge. He got a girlfriend, 22-year-old Carrie Furman, and focused on growing his own little following. And this is where the culty shit really kicks in. She was a waitress in a diner and she blew off his charm when he was hitting on her. So when he leaves, he leaves a note on the check, right? He leaves his credit card and he says, buy yourself something nice. He left his fucking credit card there and left. And she was intrigued.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, it worked. It worked.
I mean,
he had the ability to find vulnerabilities in people. And he saw, like, he could.
It would have worked for me too.
Like,
I was like,
I would have bought something and never talked to him again and been like, your credit card's there.
It depends if I thought he was hot. You know, you said you thought he was cute. I personally, I just need the record to reflect I did not find him attractive. Because my face was like, no.
Well, I've seen 400 pictures of him.
Oh, you're right. And I'm getting like.
You got the one. It's not like I started dating somebody new and I was like, let me find a good photo.
Right. Nothing ever looks good when they're in their prison blues, you know?
Right.
Something about that really just does not do it for me. But I know it does it for a lot of other women. So many jail pen pals.
So she didn't use his card, which is good because he had blown all his money. So it would have probably not went through anyway.
Oh my God, that's embarrassing.
But she was intrigued and she started to date him. And then that summer, he talked her into moving in. And then he started going on his manic religious rants. And she was like, oh, he's just enthusiastic. Taylor, okay. So Taylor's like, I want to take my friend to this training. Can you go? Well, he didn't tell her that he packed her a bag for the seminar that he went to.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't tell her he packed her a bag. So when they got there, he basically just shoved her in there and was like, nope, you're going. It's like a week. So he made her go to this training.
And he knew how to fucking pack her shit? You'd
be like, where's my serum? I'm not going to training unless I have my serum.
I would be like, what outfits did you even get me?
Oh my God.
Like, do I have 14 pairs of underwear? I need to be able to have a different change. Like, I don't understand.
So he knew because she had talked to him about all of her she had a really rough upbringing. Oh. So he knew when she got back that he could control her. And that's what happened. She gets back and she's like, God, I have a fucking headache. And he's like, here, take this aspirin. It was actually ecstasy.
Dude.
So she's like, I feel good, but like I feel great. So then they go down we're going on benders with ecstasy. Like they get hooked on
accidentally, like for you to not know that you took ecstasy.
Yeah.
I'm over here like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That would be not okay.
You just think you're getting some Tylenol. And then he gave her drugs.
I'm like, dude, I'm not even ready to trip. Where's the techno music? Do I have enough cold water?
Speaking of that, this led them to going to raves and clubs. And they were slamming drugs.
They found it.
She was under his spell officially. Like, that's where his word went.
I will say, if Travis just randomly was like, here, it's Tylenol, and it was Molly, I'd be pretty in love too. I'd be like, let's go.
Oh my God.
It's a fun drug.
On September 1st, 1998.
But be safe. Okay. Carry on.
On September 1st, 1998, Taylor went to a psychiatrist and faked a mental breakdown because, again, he wants to get out of working. He's still working this whole time as a financial advisor.
He must have been a great financial. Like, I would hate to have him be my financial advisor.
He was already showing manic and schizophrenic signs anyway. So then they officially diagnosed him with bipolar disorder. And they put him on a bunch of drugs. He didn't want them, but he wanted the disability check. So he had to start taking them. And then he started getting the checks. They used the checks to buy ecstasy and they would go sell them at the clubs. So that was their side hustle.
Dude, we've got to change up our side hustles.
They also got into doing crystal meth and cocaine.
Ah.
And then he's like, hey, Carrie, listen.
Why do they pick such... Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but they're picking like the really expensive, like...
I thought the same
drugs.
Thing. I thought the
same
thing.
If you're... Like, I get it as a financial advisor, but like you're talking about the most expensive drugs out there.
And he's supposed to be doing this for the Christian mission. So, okay, so he looks at Carrie and he's like, hey, girl, I want to make you a model, but you need breast implants, but you're going to have to pay for them. So, she fucking did. She became an exotic dancer on the side to pay for her titties. Just put that right there. So, at one of the raves they went to, Taylor met 18-year-old named Selena Bishop. Now, fun fact, Selena, and this was on the People episode, her dad, her biological father was Elvin Bishop, and he wrote the song Fooled Around and Fell in Love about her mom. Yeah.
Okay.
And became famous from that song. Okay, anyway.
Fun Fact Friday.
Yeah. Taylor introduced himself to her as Jordan. And they were friends at first. Then Jordan, a.k.a. Taylor, started sneaking around with her, and then they started banging. So it was first like, hey, we're friends. All three of us are friends. And then the throuple turned into a couple. But him and Selena broke up because she was like, he started going on his rants about the apocalypse. And she's like, no, you're too manic. He would stay up all night talking to her because he's on drugs too. So like, she would be like, I just want to fucking sleep. Can you shut up about being a warrior prophet, please? So then she finally was like, no.
I would be like, can you just go?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was like, I did do that. I told him this is not working. I did do that.
In the spring of 1999, his doctor was like, okay, cool. You're ready to go back to work. And he was mad.
I bet.
He didn't want to work. He made Carrie call the doctor and say, like, hey, he's off his meds and he's losing it. And like, she said he's losing it because his medicine that you gave him are having a weird effect with his genital warts medicine. Yep. So he goes to the ER. He gets hospitalized.
So he did get the STDs.
I don't know. That's just the story. I never confirmed or denied it. I just know that's what she told him.
That you have to have genital warts to say that.
But they say weird shit. Like they just make weird shit up.
I know, but isn't their doctor? So they would know what prescriptions they're on?
I don't know.
I'm going through the rest of the story, confirming in my head Taylor has genital warts. That's all I have to say.
Okay. So he goes to the ER saying he's, freaking out or whatever, he faked all his symptoms. He gets hospitalized, and then he gets him to push back his go to work date another 6 months. And then
oh wow, okay. He's like on FMLA.
Yeah, he went back to he got his disability checks because they were like, you can't go back to work.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So he went back and he was like, I need more people for my mission. In the summer of 1999, he went to a Mormon event, which was actually a murder mystery dinner that I read after the fact, after I printed this out.
That's a treat.
Yeah. And it was an all Mormon murder mystery dinner. I've never said that out loud. I probably never will again. And him and Justin went and they stood out. They had long hair. They weren't clean shaven. They wore black. Like the people at this event particularly were clean cut, shaved, like, you could tell.
Like Mormon.
And they already knew he was
clean cut.
He had already been excommunicated, so like they weren't shunning him, but they weren't like, hey buddy. So no one really talked to him at the thing, but they didn't care. They went anyway. He scoped out the room and then he saw a heavyset, thicker, shy gal named Dawn Godman. And I say that just because she didn't have a good life. She was just on the track to turn her life around. She was 24 years old and she had found the LDS church after she went through a horrible divorce. One of her kids passed away right after she had her baby and she had attempted to take her own life. And a friend was like, come to church with me. She found this. She was like,
oh my God. She gets preyed on at church. Stop.
Yeah. Zero self-confidence. And Taylor saw that and he got his fangs in her and he love bombed her. He said he was like, she thought he was coming to pick her up for a date after this. And when he went to pick her up, he took her to that stupid fucking seminar. So instead of going to fucking O'Charlie's, he takes her to brainwash camp. And she goes. Because she's like, this cute guy's talking to me. She was flattered and he charmed her into going. She went and it worked. And she came back and right then, under his spell, right as soon as he got back.
I just don't understand how these people can just go away for a week. If it was that easy,
Right?
I would never fucking be here.
He'd gotten more followers, and they rented a house in Concord, California, and had more people living with him. So he was slowly collecting other minions. They were at the seminar as well with Dawn, and when they got back, he was like, okay, I'm going to do my own. I don't need this one because, he doesn't need anybody else. He's the prophet.
Right.
So he's like, I'm going to start one, and it's called Transform America. He forced home the whole, like, it's not doing anything wrong if it's for God, and that's our mission. So, like, telling them, you don't have consequences, I'll handle it. So they were all doing drugs, and some people were like, I don't know about all this. Carrie, I wrote his fake boob exotic dancer girlfriend. She was like, I don't want to strip anymore. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't like it. I did it for you, like to pay for my boobs. I don't want to do it. And he's like, okay. I thought you wanted to be a model. Let's make you a model. So he takes pictures of her in the driveway and submits them to Playboy.
That's a perfect location.
Yes.
That's a perfect photo location. Yes. The driveway.
She was already mentally checked out though. And like she was strung out on drugs because she was coping with everything, self-medicating. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, well, why don't you go and stay with your parents for a little bit? And then she never came back.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. And I'll
go
tell you.
Yeah.
Taylor was like, okay, well, he started to lose her. So he goes and starts focusing all of his attention on Dawn.
Poor Dawn.
She was the most loyal one besides his brother. So he took Dawn for a drive and he's like, Dawn, look, I'm the savior, right? For the last coming of days. Let me tell you my plan. He was like, we have to raise money to travel to Brazil. I'm going to recruit street orphans and train them as assassins and smuggle them to the U.S. These assassins would kidnap the top 15 leaders of the LDS church.
Oh, geez.
And smuggle them back to Brazil. He would make them all write letters of recommendation for him to become the head of the LDS church. And if they didn't, they would die. Dawn's like, cool. Okay, sounds good.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Dawn's like, cool. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yep, sign me up.
Wonderboy Media is not only the proud producer of this glorious magic imploring your ear holes right now, but they're also a big deal.
Get in touch with them today to make all of your dreams a freaking reality.
From using their bangin' ass podcast studio,
where we are right now,
to creating amazing videos and editing our content like the mystical mavericks they are.
Your podcast can go further when you have a Wonder Boy.
Hit up Drew today at WBOYmedia.com.
Or text him day or night at 270.
Just kidding.
In 2000, he lost a few more followers, and even Carrie, like I said, was too strung out. She was already gone. Whenever she went home to quote unquote recover, she escaped and didn't come back. And guess what else? She actually ended up being selected to be a centerfold for Playboy. And he was pissed. He was like, that's my money. That's my mission. Like, he was pissed
I am
off.
so happy about that.
Said, Go for Carrie. Paid for her own boobs and got in Playboy. Good for her.
Good for her.
So, yeah.
I want to see her.
I know. So.
I'm trying to see them titties. Sounds like, golly.
I know. It's like, she's in Playboy. You're like, I want to see her.
I'm like, good for her.
No, I know. That's wonderful. What I said. And it pissed him off so bad.
Good.
He was like, that was my work. I'm like, shut up. You're the only one you told.
You're not the fucking surgeon and you didn't pay for it.
Yeah, no shit.
Go you for saying it was yours because it was your idea.
Yeah. And so they were broke. And also they were broke at the time because they were spending all their money on drugs.
And he wasn't working.
Yeah. So
he's getting like a half a paycheck.
So Taylor moved in with Dawn, and then Justin, for the first time ever, got his own place. It was kind of a shitty place, but he had his own space for once, and he never had that before. So
wow.
Taylor had set a benchmark for their group, and it was $20 million for his stupid mission. And he was like, that cash for God or whatever. He's like, hey, Spirit, because by the way, Spirit is what he calls the voices in his head. So he's like, if I came to you and I was like, you have to do this, I'd be like, Spirit said you have to go smuggle Brazilian orphans. Like, that's okay. Just remember
Heather,
that.
Dude, I love you, and there's a lot of fires I'd walk through for you. That ain't one. Ain't one.
Same.
Just want you to know that ain't on the docket.
So he's like, hey, Spirit, how do I get this money? And Spirit's like, oh, you can murder and steal for me, extortion, whatever it takes. Just for your mission, do whatever it takes. Taylor, Justin, and Dawn started scheming, and then they all moved back in together. He named the group the Children of Thunder because there's a biblical story about two brothers who were nicknamed the Sons of Thunder. And they can't be sons because Don was their third wheel. On July 26, 2001, Taylor Helzer turned 30, and this was his light switch. The Sunday after his 30th birthday, because Jesus began preaching at age 30, Joseph Smith ramped up the LDS at age 30, and then that was his benchmark for their bloody Satan war or whatever. The first day the war, quote unquote, began, Don packed a briefcase with some tools. It included a pencil torch, gloves.
A pencil torch. What's that?
I don't fucking know.
Okay.
It's how they make pencil. No, I don't. I just think it's like a small torch.
That's what I'm guessing too. Okay, carry on. So sorry. First, I literally thought it was a torch for pencils. So it did sadly take me a second.
Torch.
I was like, what are we torching pencils
As soon as I typed it, I go, she's going to have 9 questions about this. I swear to God. I was typing it like she's going to ask me 19 questions.
I now want a pencil torch.
Okay. Pencil torch, gloves, a handgun, a stun gun, a pistol, a bag of crystal meth, and a pipe. You know, the essentials.
You know what? I grabbed that for road trips.
And everybody's got, that's in my purse right now. Taylor called their friend in Wiccan/Mormon, which that's an interesting group.
So
Deborah McClanahan, and was like, hey, I need you to go buy 4 movie tickets and dinner for 4. And I'm going to bring you Don, he doesn't do anything by himself. Don's going to give you $100. And Deborah's like, sure, I'm sure they're just selling drugs, so I'll cover for him. Nobody corrected her. Don drove one car and Justin and Taylor drove the other car for this little mission.
Okay.
Since Taylor was a financial advisor, he said God told him that they had to use vulnerable people to fund their mission. He had a lot of retirement clients and he knew all their financials from his work. And he made friends with them because he was so charming. Yeah. So they went to Bob White's house first, and he was a retired Air Force pilot who lived alone. But thankfully, he was not home.
Dang, I'm already upset.
Yeah, you're going to get even more upset. Taylor and Justin were dressed in suits. They walked up to 85-year-old Ivan and 78-year-old Annette Steinman's house. And they liked him, and he came there, knocked on the door, and they let him in. And an hour later, the guys pulled out guns and came out of the house to Don. Don was in the car just chain smoking and reading a book and chain smoking in the car waiting on him.
Dreams.
Yeah.
Best way to pass the time.
And then the Simons came out in handcuffs at gunpoint. They took them back to their house and they made them make calls, cancel plans so people wouldn't get suspicious about them being gone. Their daughter was on the show and she was like she was very dismissive and said she had company and she had to go. And she's like, I talk to my mom all the time and she never acts like that. So, and they were like, well, we're going on a vacation. And basically her daughter's like, what?
Like you just never mentioned it until right now?
Yeah. And then she rushed her off the phone and she was like, my mom never does that. Something's weird. Taylor was like, okay, listen, if you guys, the Steinmans, if you give me all your money, I'll let you live. But they tortured him for a few days.
Oh my God. Why?
Yeah. Because to brainwash them, their drug because they were obviously putting up a little bit of a fight. So he'd make them, this is what he did. He made them take a shit ton of roofies. And before they kicked in, he made them write 2 $100,000 checks. But he made them make it out to his 22-year-old on and off again girlfriend, Selena Bishop. The girl that was like, why are you going to let me sleep? Taylor had met Selena at that rave, but she thought his name was Jordan this whole time still.
Oh, my geez.
Yeah. So, and she was young and naive, so they kind of stayed in and out of touch. And then when the Steinmans didn't die from a roofie overdose like he thought that they would.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, what did he think was going to happen
thought, he was like, let me get them to write these checks and they're just going to pass away from roofie overdose. And they didn't. And Taylor got impatient. And then he dragged them into the bathroom and he bashed their heads in.
Why didn't you just shoot him? Why make it so brutal and disgusting and horrible?
I left out a lot.
If you had to do it, why not just shoot them? You had guns.
Oh, they suffered bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck's the point?
Yeah.
Fucking fuckwad.
Yeah. And then it was awful, the shit that they did to them. And then
what did they do to them?
They tried to they bashed their heads in. They were still breathing and moaning. Like Mrs. Annette Steinman, she had her skull got cracked and she was still fighting. They tried to put plastic wrap on them and they were still breathing.
Oh my gosh. Like he literally couldn't do it.
He slit her throat.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then the husband's heart stopped from the roofies and the beating. It was so bad. So yeah, it was awful.
Poor things.
I know. On July 31st, so they passed
by
away.
her financial advisor. That would, like, my financial advisor, I couldn't fathom in all of my wildest dreams him coming to my house and then doing that. It's probably because I have $10 in my bank account. But if I had
like,
more
no
than
one
that,
can come do that.
No one's coming to do that because I don't have anything for you to steal. But it would just be like, there's no way I wouldn't trust him. Like, dude, you fuck with my finances.
So
I would
sad.
never expect that.
So on July 31st, Taylor had Dawn drive to a bank because remember they got the 2 checks in a disguise. And when I say the word disguise, he told her what to wear. And I'm going to show you what she wore, but I'm going to tell you about it first.
Great.
And I can do this from memory. This is how bad it was. Like, you can tell he was on drugs when he told her. She had a lime green jumpsuit that matched. She was in a wheelchair. She had on a straw cowboy hat. And she didn't even go up to the desk. She wheeled right into the manager's office at the bank. And I'm going to show you. And Jess is going to, this is what, look at that. That stands out.
What the fuck?
Like, she literally had on lime green and a cowboy hat and in a wheelchair and wheels into the manager's office and is like, this is what she says.
It's literally a lime green, full lime green outfit and a white cowboy hat that looks like sparkly. That's so bizarre.
I know. I'm like, tell me you're on drugs without telling me you're on drugs.
Right?
Yeah.
I guess what year was that? 90s?
That was 2000.
No,
but like,
I know. I'm trying to remember what the fuck was happening. Were we all wearing that crazy shit? I don't know.
So Dawn wheels in there and she's like, hey, Selena, Selena's like, she needs open heart surgery. And the Steinmans are her grandparents.
I was like, why did they pick a check that wasn't the name of the person? Oh my God.
So the Steinmans, so he's like, she needs open heart surgery. She needs this and they're going to help. She doesn't have insurance. So they're going to pay for it. The bank manager is like, cool, this is real weird. Let me look into it. But she's not really going to look into it. Her gut was like, what the fuck? And while she's at the bank, oh God, I hate this. Taylor and Justin dismembered the Steinmans and put their bodies into trash bags.
Yeah. How did she not see it? Okay.
So Taylor regrouped after this, and because after the bank, and she was like, they didn't get denied, but she's like, I have to look into this first.
Why would anyone write a check for $100,000?
It was $200,000 total, and then this lady that comes in there looking like the Kool-Aid woman that's lime green is like, no, it's for my friend. She needs surgery, but the Simons can't come, so they wanted me to come. I'm a friend of the family. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right. And you want to take the money? Is that what you're saying? Are you going to put that in her account?
Like, they wanted it deposited directly into Selena's account so she could pay for her surgery because it's life threatening.
But then how would they get the money from Selena?
I'm gonna tell you.
Oh my gosh.
So they didn't do it.
No shit.
Yeah, the lady was like, cool, I'll get back to you.
2000s, but
she's like, I'll get back to you. And she's like, no. So Taylor's pissed off and he's like, all right, I got to regroup with Spirit again. And Spirit, his head voice was like, I don't need any loose ends. Selena's a loose end. On August 2nd in 2000, Taylor, aka Jordan, invited Selena back to his house, and he was like, hey, we're gonna have like hang out. Her and Jordan and Dawn and him, they're just gonna hang out, play games and drink or whatever. So they smoked weed, and then he goes, let me give you a massage. So she lays face down. She's like, they've been drinking, smoking, whatever, and when she's face down, he hits her in the back of the head with a hammer until she dies.
Oh my gosh.
They wrapped her in a blanket, but then Dawn said she could hear her moaning still.
Oh,
so then they beat her until she stopped. Ugh. They took her in the bathroom. They filled the bathtub with water, slit her throat, and pushed her under. They dismembered her as well, and then they left her car with the keys in it abandoned. While they were doing this, Taylor realized that he'd also met Selena's mom when he was her fake boyfriend as Jordan. Her mom's name was Jenny Villarin, and she was a beloved bartender and like a staple in the community. Everybody knew who she was. Everyone loved her. Oh. So Jenny, it was cute because her best friend was on the show, and she was like, we were going to get a scheme to meet this boyfriend because Jenny and her mom, or Selena and Jenny, were best friends. Like, her and her mom were super close. And so she went to her best friend and she was like, I got to meet this Jordan guy. I don't know who he is. I just want to know who he is. So they accidentally, quote unquote, went over there to borrow clothes from Selena. She's like, I need to borrow a top for work. And then the best friend stayed in the car. And then she was like, what'd you think of him? And she's like, well, he's cute. He was nice. Like, she just thought he was a normal dude.
Yeah.
So Jordan, God, his name's not Jordan. His fake name is Jordan. Taylor knew that Jenny, Selena's mom, was staying at her apartment because they were supposed to go camping that weekend. Aww. So her mom was staying at her apartment, and he knew that. So Taylor dressed in black and headed that way with 2 guns.
For what?
Because she knew who he was. She'd seen him.
Fuck.
Yeah. So, but he didn't know was that Jenny had brought her boo thing over.
Go Jenny.
To her apartment. 54-year-old Jim Gamble.
Oh, he sounds like he's ready to rumble.
He was so nice. He brought her dinner as a romantic gesture. He brought her dinner after her bar shift. Oh. And then they went for a walk and then they went back. So he jumped out of bed first. Like, and Taylor was like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And
no.
Yeah.
I hate when you do your, because it always means you're going to say something. Yeah. That's going to piss me off.
Taylor shot Jim 4 or 5 times and then he fell to the ground. Jenny screamed and he shot her too and ran out. Then the Children of Thunder, these fucking assholes, went to breakfast and they had been up for like 4 days at this point on meth benders. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. So they went back to their house where they had the bodies and all that stuff. They removed the teeth of their victims, removed their heads, and put the rest of their bodies in trash bags and load everything up. They drove to a remote area in the Sacramento Delta, which is like where rivers come together. It's like a body of water or something.
I love when you tell me stuff about nature.
Oh.
Like, I find it so hot. You're like, the Delta, it's where bodies of water. And I'm like, tell me about those bodies.
Oh my God.
Do they float again?
I'm saying bad stuff.
Well, and we're a true crime comedy podcast, so I was just giving you the comedic part.
And we're
let it go.
Okay. But they had rented a trailer and a jet ski. So they loaded up all the bags on the jet skis and took them out 2 at a time. Don's sitting in the truck.
It's kind of smart.
But Don's sitting in the truck. People see them out. They just think that they're just rooting around on their jet skis, but they're literally doing horrible things. So they went back to the house and Taylor, the prophet, he's like, hey, I deserve a treat. So you guys fucking figure this out. And I'm going to go to this reggae music festival. So clean this shit up. I'm the prophet. I need a break. I'm busy. So he goes to a reggae music festival.
Cash.
And his disciples are like, okay. So, and he's like, oh, and get the Steinman's van out of my garage. Because he still had the Steinman's van in their garage. Like the couple's van.
Yeah. He's crushing everything.
They did what he said. And they took the elderly couple's van and they drove it to a bad part of town in Oakland, California. They left the keys in it. It's a minivan. They left the keys in it, windows down, blared rap music on full tilt. And just were like, the most racist thing I've ever heard. They were like, leave it here. Everyone will think it's fine. Like, it's a fucking minivan. Like, you're stupid. So they go to dump. And I told you they had dumped Selena's car. So when they did that in downtown Petaluma, which Karen Kilgariff's hometown from My Favorite Murder.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love you, Karen.
And Taylor had told them that Spirit had told his head voice says, put Ivan Steinman's wedding ring in Selena's car. So he was like, no. They'll think that.
That's tying shit together, you idiot.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, you're literally creating the exact opposite of what you want.
Right. So Taylor.
Fuck.
Taylor's like, no. They'll think that he left his wife and ran away with Selena. So he thinks that an 85-year-old man is going to leave and run away with a 22-year-old. I just had to point that out.
I mean, that has been done.
I mean, yeah, but
it's and she didn't have a lot of money, I presume, and because she was 22 and no one has a lot of money at 22.
Right.
Unless you're fucking rich, and fuck you if you do. And then an 80, I mean, it's still stupid. It just tied them together more.
Yeah. He
literally was like, I'm going to leave one crime scene thing here to really tie all this together for
right. You. And so then, obviously, when no one hears from Jenny, Selena's mom, or Jim Gamble. Like, people are like, where? She never no-shows for work. Where is she?
Right.
When they found out she was killed, and they couldn't reach Selena either, but they were like, well, she's supposed to be camping. Because she originally was supposed to be camping, and he's like...
With her mom, though.
No, she was supposed to be camping with her boyfriend, quote-unquote, Jordan, who's Taylor.
Oh, got it.
So everyone thought she was in
Got
Yosemite.
it. Okay.
And shit hits the fan there because they're like, they can't get a hold of her to tell her mom died.
That's so terrible.
Yeah. And when detectives start talking to the family, they're like, who the fuck is this Jordan guy? No one had met him, but they just started dating. So, that put that on pause. So Justin and Dawn couldn't clean up the mess for the one that he took. Like, they ditched the cars. They're trying to clean up the mess, right? Mm-hmm. So they hired a cleaner. Wait, it's only going to get worse. So the cleaner walks in, to quote him, and the cleaner's like,
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold the fuck on.
Yeah. I told you.
You're telling me.
Yes.
Okay. That they hired a cleaner to come clean up a dead body?
No, the
or the
bodies
crime
were gone,
scene.
Just a shit ton of blood. etc.
Because it was in the bathtub and they cut her throat and there's blood.
Yeah, and he had beat her at, like, when he bashed her heads in, it was in the living room on carpet. And then they moved him into the bathroom and the kitchen. So they dragged him around. So
what?
This cleaner's like, and it's just for the carpet. They just wanted because they couldn't get it out with carpet cleaner. The cleaner
they couldn't rent a fucking Stanley steamer,
right? So they're all strung out. Okay, so
I'm like, go to Publix, grab a Stanley steamer.
Yeah, no, they
didn't. And a nice little pack of fucking liquid.
They tried. So and Taylor's off in Reggaeville at the fucking festival, right? And Dawn's like, no, and the cleaner's like, this is a shit ton. It's going to be like $750. And the cleaner's like looking all suspect. So Dawn's like, here's my credit card. And he was like, what is this, by the way? Like, trying not to be like, did you fucking kill someone? Because I'd be
so afraid to get killed in your house. That's what I'd be afraid of. I'd be like, you're about to kill me.
What do you think Dawn told him it was?
Kool-Aid.
Can you see my notes?
No.
That's what it is. She told him it was spilled Kool-Aid.
The only reason I even said Kool-Aid was because I went into the office today and bumped into Candace. And I go, what you drinking? She goes, I got some Kool-Aid and some coffee. And she was drinking Kool-Aid today. And it was red Kool-Aid. That is the only reason why I thought Kool-Aid.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, man. Today has been very kismet. I'm obviously on it.
The cleaner's like, okay. So he tried, or he or she, I don't know. One of the cleaner tried. Taylor comes home, and it was kind of cleaned, but you could still fucking tell.
I really hope that she then, like, whoever the cleaner was, like, went to the police and was like, there's liquid in this that I'm pretty sure is murder. Or is murder? The liquid in here is murder. It's liquid murder.
Liquid murder.
Death. That's a fucking seltzered beverage.
That's if you get liquid death at Ollie's.
Yes.
It's called liquid murder.
We need to come out with liquid murder.
That's right. Okay, so this whole time, Taylor comes back and he's like, well, you guys tried, whatever. I love reggae. And
he's coming back just super chill. He listened to a lot of Bob Marley. And he's like, I'm feeling good.
Yeah. And
I don't even care about that carpet. I didn't even like the color.
So they when he came in, there were huge fans blowing on it too. Like the cleaner went to town and couldn't get it out, obviously. So the cops this whole time, they're looking for Selena. And they're like, where the fuck did she go? Like the 22-year-old. Like, where did she go? They found her pager. They put all the pieces together because they can't find anything else. But they found her pager. And they figured out that Jordan they did their tracking. I don't know fucking how they did.
Phone.
Yeah. And
they just looked at the phone number.
Yes. I was trying to church it up.
You're like, and they were tracking. And I was like, they looked at the phone number.
They did.
I'm pretty sure they went in the phone book.
I forgot about
the phone number.
Yeah. And they figured out that Jordan was Glen Taylor Helzer. On August 7th, 2000, the cops were like, all right, we know where this motherfucker is. Shit's shady. Shit's shady. So then they were like, we got to go over there and like bust in the door if they don't open it. Because they can't find Selena.
Got it. Okay.
And they're like, something's up. Like, she's gone.
I know, but
they don't trust them.
I'm surprised they'd be like, we got to break down the door just to go speak to somebody who dated her casually.
Yeah, well,
like, a little extreme.
There's a lot more shit I left out.
So throw it in here. Tell me why. Tell me why they did that. Like, why did the cops? Why was that Why was he a suspect so quickly that they were like ready to beat down a door?
Well, because her mom was shot.
Right.
She was missing. They figured out that he was with her. He was supposed to go camping with her, so they were like life or death situation.
Well, wouldn't they be worried that he was hurt too?
Like he's probably armed.
Like, I don't know. In my thought process of it, I'm like, I would be more concerned trying to find him to see if they could help me get in contact with Selena than ever think he had anything bad to do with Selena, especially because it wasn't his name. So they, you know what I mean? Like there wouldn't have been anything saying that he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
So I was curious why they thought automatically something bad instead of being like, if they went camping together and Selena's not answering, I would assume that Jordan was missing too.
Yeah. But I can't remember.
Or that she never showed up to camp with him.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just curious why they were so like anti him so fast.
Yeah. Okay, so they took a SWAT team and they were like, if she's in there and she's still alive, like, we got to get in the house. So they go over him to arrest him at 6 a.m. Justin and Dawn were taken into custody peacefully because they think they're above the law because Taylor's going to fix everything because it's for the good of God. So no consequences. And then Taylor's little head buddy Spirit told him to do all this, and Spirit knows all. So Taylor was only in his boxers, and he hears the SWAT team bust in, and he jumps out a window like a little bitch baby, and he takes off running.
The SWAT team shows up?
Yeah, because they think someone's in danger in that house.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like...
And there's reasons that they thought that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't get that. I feel like, okay.
Yeah. So he takes off running. He starts jumping fences, and then he ends up at Mary Masaki's yard. And she has an adult son, and he's got a ton of friends she's like all their moms. So she sees this guy in boxers, and she's like, what the fuck? It's like 6 a.m. What are you doing? So when he comes to the door, she opens the door.
Yeah.
Thinks it's one of her son's friends. And then she lets him in, and he busts in the door. He grabs a kitchen knife, and he's like, you're going to give me your fucking car. She's like, my car's in the shop. It is.
Oh my God.
And he's like, no, it's not. She's like, look, the phone book's even open. I'm looking at like she had rental cars circled and written down. So luckily that was happening.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I need your fucking keys. And she's like, no,
I don't have them.
I don't have any keys.
I would give you my fucking car for my life, dude.
She is so smart. She talks him down somehow. She gives him clothes of her son's. He grabs scissors. He cuts his hair. Like manic, like, oh my God, they're going to recognize me. She's like, take these clothes. You can escape. She's like, I won't call the cops. Well, her son was home. So her son hears all this and calls the cops from the back bedroom. So
good son.
Yeah.
I'm so happy this was a time before AirPods.
Right. And he didn't run out and is like, what are you doing to my mom? Like he heard it and was like, I need to call the cops right now. So he did. He runs out the front door. And when he runs out there, he literally ran over there, ran around, jumped over a fence, and almost landed on 2 cops when he did that. So, like, they were in the neighborhood. Oh. And they had already come that way because they knew that he was there. The son had called, so they were already en route to her house. So, when he jumped a fence, he almost hit 2 cops.
Oh.
And the cops searched his house, and they found the handcuffs, the ecstasy, and a lot of the Steinman stuff. So, Don and his brother Justin didn't get rid of all the things they were supposed to in their drug frenzy of, we thought we did a good job. So there was still evidence.
I can only imagine. It's hard enough to do shit clear-minded. I can only imagine completely fucked up out of your
not
gourd.
Sleeping for days on drugs.
I've been on 4 days.
Brainwashed.
My teeth are falling out at this point because I'm pretty sure that's what happens when you do that much meth and you stay awake.
Right.
Clumps of hair. I don't even know what's happening. Are you eating? I doubt it.
Right.
Who's brushing teeth? I don't know. I'm just curious about hygiene. Have we washed anything or no? Because there was dead body in the bathtub a little while ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
I bet it smells.
Oh.
I smell things. I'm feeling the scent of what's going on in that place.
One thing I left out was that at one point Dawn left and went and stayed at that Deborah lady's house. So I'll tell you about that in a second. Okay, so the story hits the news. They're like, we arrested this guy. Shit's happening. Like, shit's coming together. Everybody's freaking out. Plus, not to mention that Selena was missing and that her dad was famous. So her biological dad wrote that song.
Right.
So that's her baby daddy. So it hit the news even harder. Because in 2000, it wasn't, that's before Facebook. So it's not going to get posted and shared all over the place.
Right.
So guess who saw this on the news? The bank manager. Who Dawn wheeled in with her lime green outfit trying to get to cash a check.
I wonder, where did that wheelchair come from?
I don't know.
I'm hoping they were just in the front of the lobby.
Yeah.
And they didn't just steal someone's wheelchair. I randomly looked at that wheelchair and was like, Those aren't always that easy to come by.
Right.
They're a little expensive.
So shortly after that, the bank lady calls the cops and she's like, let me tell you this. So she's over here. Shortly after that, same day, a man was fishing, found a duffel bag.
Ah, fuck.
He was like, what is this? Takes it up there, calls the cops, doesn't even open it. They open it. There's male and female body parts mixed together in there.
Question.
Yes.
If you found a duffel bag in an area that is obviously something crazy is in this duffel bag, are you opening it?
Yes.
I'm not.
Bombs.
I don't believe explosives are too easy. I want to say I would open it.
I would. I shouldn't, but I would. It would kill me. I'm too nosy not to.
I know, but you'd be there. Like the cops are going to be there, and you're going to find. You're like, here it is, and you're going to stand right next to a cop and open it.
Only if you're waiting there with me, saying, "Do not touch that. Do not touch that."
Actually, I say I wouldn't. I'd touch around and see if it felt like a bomb.
You would touch around.
You're going to know if it's
Touch
like go like
around
this.
and find out.
For anyone who doesn't know, I'd touch around and find out.
It looks like you're making sourdough.
Fuck.
Okay. So they all the pieces are finally fit together with the different precincts because these are in different locations close to each other but far enough away to where they may not cross paths because why the fuck would they? None of these people are connected besides them.
Yeah.
So they finally get the Children of Thunder.
Heard.
All three were charged and Karma's like, let me help my babies out. Doesn't have enough money to do that. So they get public defenders. Dawn's lawyer, she meets with their lawyer and the lawyer's like, she is so far under the spell that she needs deprogramming. Because she's sitting in there trying to talk. And then she's like, I don't need, the law doesn't apply to me because Taylor's going to fix it. He's the prophet. He's the warrior prophet. He's going to fix it. I don't need you.
There aren't consequences. Just let me go.
100%.
I told you what it is.
Yeah.
I told you he's just let me walk out of here.
Yeah. She was like, he's going to come get me. I'm not worried about any of this. I don't need to do this. Like, and she was so serious. So he
Oh my God.
She had to get deprogrammed, which is very common in cults.
For anyone who doesn't know, deprogramming is where you go through the process of them literally deprogramming your mind of all of the terrible things that you were fucking informed of and believe is now an active belief.
Yeah. Because she was so, like, she had to get treatment. And after treatment, Dawn was like, oh my God, what did we do? Like, what the fuck did we do? And then...
Poor girl. Like, drug-fueled... crazy,
got taken advantage of and then went down a bad path. Not saying what she did was
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I always like to act like that's a given, and then I forget that people just want to get mad and yell at us on a podcast.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
we're not saying that. We're clearly saying some shit was going on there.
She snapped out of it and had regret. And eventually Deborah, the Mormon Wiccan, who had the alibi, that was the one where they said go buy movie tickets and dinner.
Yeah.
She figured out what was happening and she flipped too. So Dawn had left one day because the smell was getting to her at their house and she was like, I need air. So she goes and stays the night at Deborah's. I know. She goes and stays.
Understand. Yeah. Like I had to leave. Because the smell is so bad.
Yeah.
I just needed some fresh air.
Yeah. So she goes and stays the night at Deborah's. When she gets there, this was before they got caught. So when she got there, Dawn had given Deborah a safe to hide and the wheelchair. And she was like, here, Deborah. And Deborah was like, oh, I'm sure this has to do with the drugs.
Now
we
found the wheelchair. Out. Thank you. Okay, carry on. Sorry. Yeah. Now I'm like, ting, ting, we found the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Deborah was like, oh, it's probably just got drugs in it. But no, in the safe, there was the guns used in all the killings. Selena's driver's license, Annette Steinman's wallet, the Steinman's checkbook, the receipt to the bank manager where she tried to cash the check and it was on hold, and the bank manager's business card. So all of that got linked together in one safe because Dawn needed to breathe air. Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's some shit.
So the case goes to trial. And I still can't believe I'd never heard of this before.
Yeah.
How have I never heard of this before? Dawn pled guilty to 2 counts of murder and agreed to testify against the Helzer brothers in a plea deal. So she got 25 years to life. Justin pled not guilty, but that didn't work and he got the death penalty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he took his own life before he got the death penalty while he was in prison.
Oh.
Justin Helzer did.
Poor thing. Because that was like from a child. From a child, he was informed to do whatever he had said and that it was all active and real. So that sucks. He had no chance. He didn't have a chance.
In his own mom.
Unless he had moved out and gotten away. Like he would have had to have moved out and gotten away from his mother to like live his own life.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out.
When he got that shitty apartment I was talking about, and that was the first time he'd ever done it. He started to question it, but then he was so brainwashed. He was like, no, why am I questioning this? This is all I've ever known.
Right.
But for a split second, he did question it. Taylor, the warrior prophet, Taylor Helzer was charged with a shit ton of things, including 5 counts of murder. He pled not guilty by reason of insanity, which didn't work. And he also got the death penalty and was sentenced to death in 2005. Taylor is actually still on death row today.
Oh, shit.
And he was denied appeal in January of 2024. He tried one more time to throw a Hail Mary, and they were like, no. And that is the sad story of the Children of Thunder cult and their war on Satan. And I want to say one more time the victims because I had to jump around. So Ivan Steinman was 85. Annette Steinman was 78. Selena Bishop was 22. Jennifer Villarin was 45. And James Gamble was 54. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That was pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. And there's like, if I would have done everything and told you everything, it would have been 2-parter.
I believe it.
But I didn't realize it till I was balls deep, and I was like, you know what? We're just going to tickle them and run.
And that's what it felt like, a tickle and a run. Thank y'all so much. Don't forget to like, rate, review, subscribe.
It helps us out, and it's free.
It does. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Find our personal accounts because we make it easy, and we're just available for you.
TikTok, YouTube.
All that shit.
OnlyFans. Just kidding.
Motherfucker. We love you guys. Oh, don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Hey, bye.
Love you, bye.
This episode was sponsored, edited, and produced by Wonderboy Media. Get the deets at WBOYmedia.com to see how you can make your podcast dreams a reality.
Help us out and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our audio project. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at, of course, a couple of Sassholes.
Want more sass? Become a member of our Patreon for bonus content, merch, and more. Plus, we're on Cameo now, so there's even more ways to get the sass you need just how you like it. As always, don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Theodore, can I bet that